Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and it's a good Friday for those of you who celebrate and observe. Happy Good Friday to you. And today I am making a version of the chocolate bar card that I made last week, only I'm making it with a smaller size chocolate bar. Last week I did an XL chocolate bar and I received requests to make a smaller version. So I went back to the store and I took a look to see what other sizes were readily available. And this one, you can find these bars up right near the cash register. They're sold individually if you just need to make one. They are also sold in bulk online. So if you need to make a whole bunch of these, look for my link down below. You can see that they're sold in boxes of 36, so you can save a little bit if you're making a whole bunch of these. So this is kind of a smaller version. It still looks a little bit like a card, but it is smaller, so you could maybe make them for other events. I'm decorating mine up as a happy birthday card, so you'll see I'm making these with slightly different bundle than last week. So I hope you enjoy it. I'll just show you. Okay, so this week's this is the chocolate bar card we're going to be making this week, and it opens up like this, kind of similar to last week, just a little bit smaller. And last week, you can see the size difference. So this is the size difference between an XL bar and kind of your regular size candy bar. So they are two different sizes. Both are cute. And thank you for those of you who emailed me and suggested making a smaller one. This one, if you made last week's bar, this one's made slightly differently because I'm going to use one sheet of cardstock instead of two coming together to make the bar card. So you'll want to watch this to see how to bring this one together. Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad you're here with me. I'll talk to you all at the end so I don't get distracted. Also wanted to point out I do have a new host code for April. There it is. I actually do not have any of the gifts that I'll be sending out for orders this month yet, because it is a new product that will be in the catalog in May. It is the 2022-2024 in color pearls. They're so beautiful, and those are what I chose for our gift for the month. So that's what you'll be earning. You need to spend at least $50 with me using this host code to get that gift. So I'll just leave that up there for a second, just so you can see it. I will also be sending out a project sheet. Mine's partially finished right now, but it will have the instructions, a supply list, and I will have some diagrams for you to make your life easier to make this. So you need to be on my email list to get this project sheet. You'll find the link down below. It's free. You just need to subscribe, and then on Saturdays you'll get my project sheets. Okay, I think we're ready to get started, and I'm going to pop over to my other camera. All right, so let me just prop this up here so I can see it. And let's talk, this is how the chocolate bar works. Like, it's just, this is like a little box at the end right here, and you just tuck everything inside it and then close that up. I will say I did design this one to be slightly snugger in fit than the other one. I think it's a slightly thinner chocolate bar too, so it just worked out so that I could make the depth a little less. It's also better if it fits the bar pretty snugly, because that way when you go to write on here, it's not going to have too much give. So this one's a little snugger fit, but I think you'll really like it. Kind of the same deal. And you can make these in like whatever color you want. This beautiful paper, this is called Hues of Happiness, and it is just the most gorgeous paper. It is retiring very soon and is only available while supplies last. So if you love this paper, it is just gorgeous. It's got, on one side, it's got really bright, bold florals, and on the back side, it's got neutrals. So it just is a very, very nice paper for spring. So pick some of this up before it's gone. I checked this morning and it's still available, but I don't know how much longer, because everything right now that's retiring is while supplies last. Okay, let's talk about the other things that I'll be using. Oh, this is the chocolate bar, just real quick. You can see it is a 1.55 ounce or 43 gram bar. Okay, so that's what you'll need for this project. These products, the rest of the products I think are all carrying over. I double checked because I didn't want things that weren't going to be available. So the only thing that's retiring soon is the paper. The Petal Park bundle is this stamp set and this punch. It is going to be in the annual catalog, and I think they're unbundling it. So if you want the bundled pricing of 10% off, make sure you get it in April before the price changes in May, when you can only get them as individual products. I'm also using the Go-To Greeting stamp set. This is a great stamp set. It's got they have like this happy birthday in this font, in this font, and this font. So you've kind of got 4 different fonts to choose from. So I love that. And most of the greetings are repeated 3 times in different fonts. So I love, it really is a go-to greeting stamp set. I'll be using the little Best Label punch. You may remember that this punch matches the Alphabest stamp set, and I'm going to be using it right here. This is the little punch right there for the little tuck piece. Okay, what else am I using? Oh, I'm using the Very Best Trio punch, and I'm using that to create these labels here. Okay, so this is a really good all-around punch to have in your arsenal. It turns cardstock into cute little labels. Okay, I think I've talked about most of the supplies that I'm using today. So let's start making our base. I'm going to be using crushed curry cardstock today. This color here is Melon Mambo, and this color here is Night of Navy. I normally don't do a lot of yellow bases, but I think a yellow base will really help you see the score lines clearly. That's why I'm choosing to do it in yellow today. We'll see how it turns out and see if it's too bright for the eyes. It might be, but I think it will be a good color to illustrate the scoring and cutting dimensions on, because it shows up better on lighter colored cardstock. Okay, so we need dimensions for this piece. This is 10 1/8 inches by 6 3/4. 10 1/8 by 6 3/4. We'll start off by putting the long side up at the top, and we're going to score at the 2, whoops, I'm going to use the large ball, 2 1/4, 4 1/2, 4 7/8, 7 1/8, 7 3/8, 9 5/8, and 9 7/8. 5/8. There we go. 9 7/8. Okay. All right. So you can see what the score lines look like. Now put one of the short sides up at the top. It doesn't matter which one, and score at the 1/4 inch mark and the 1/2 inch mark. Now turn your piece to the other short side and do the same. 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. Okay. So this is what it looks like. I will have a diagram for you, so hopefully that will help with everything. So let's take a real quick look at this piece. You'll see those two score lines that are really close together on the top and the bottom here. Because last time I had this done in two pieces because it was a large bar and I couldn't fit all the dimensions on one sheet of cardstock. So this time I'm going to get them all on one sheet. So the next thing that you need to do, and this is a very important thing to do right now while your piece is still intact, we need to put 2 slots into this paper. So we're going to line this up at the 2 1/4 inch mark. Make sure I'll have the diagram oriented so you can see, but you're gonna make sure you're gonna cut into this end and not this end with the little tiny score marks on the end. You're gonna cut in this end right here. When you line this up, just double check that there is a score line right there. That will help you to make sure you're in the right spot. But I've got this lined up at the 2 1/4 inch mark, and we are going to cut a slot right here in the middle. Okay, so we're going to cut from the 3. Oh, let me just double check my measurements. Oh, no, I did not change that yet. So yes, we're lining up at the 2 1/4, but we're going to cut from 2 7/8 to 3 7/8. So locate that before you put your blade down. So 2 7/8 is right there. So I'm sliding over my blade to that mark, and now I'll put it down, and then I'm going to come all the way to 3 7/8. It's just an inch long. And if you go a little longer, it will be okay too, but you just want to get about 2 7/8 to 3 7/8, okay? So you can see there's a little slot right there. Okay, now keep your cardstock oriented like it is. And we're gonna shove this over. I have to figure out what this mark is because I did not know what it was, and I didn't have a flat piece of cardstock anymore. So we are gonna line this up at the 7 3/8 inch mark. In fact, I'm gonna write this down for later for my purposes. It will be let's count them, 1, 2, the 3rd score line in from this side is what we're going to be cutting the slot on, okay? So, but it will also line up at the 7 3/8 inch mark. So you can double check both measurements. The slot is going to be the same, from 2 7/8 to 3 7/8. Okay. So we've got the 2 slots. See, counting over 1, 2 in that 3rd one, and then this one is on that 1st score line over from the other side. Okay. Oh, one more thing we need to do while we still have this. We are going to cut away. I've got this on the short side now with the 2 skinny score marks up at the top. And I'm just gonna make a pencil mark for you so you can see. So we're gonna cut down from here all the way down here. I'm gonna squiggle it. We're gonna cut all that down. You can see we're gonna retain those 2 little skinny, that little skinny score mark right there. We want to retain that, but everything else from down over here, and we're going to do that on both sides. I'm going to take this off right here, and this will be cut along the score lines. My pencil marks are a little crooked, so you can see those 2 pieces are going to come off. So I'm going to line this up right here on the score line, and I'm going to bring my cutting blade right to that point, and I'm just going to cut down so that this is loose, and then we can do the same thing for the other side. And actually sometimes it's not great to cut into the bump, but let's see how it goes today. Sometimes it tears a little bit. Okay, it's not too bad. Okay, so we've got those 2 pieces, and the rest we're gonna freehand cut. Okay, so we've got these pieces. You can see we've got still that little tiny skinny score mark, and then those 2 skinny score marks up at the top. Okay, so we'll come in and now we're going to cut this off right here. And we'll come along here and cut this off. It's nice to use a trimmer to do those long cuts because that is a really long cut to do freehand, but you could also use scissors and freehand cut along there. And I just noticed I got a little bit of pencil right here. I'll just erase that. You won't have that because you won't need to draw those on there. Okay, so now that we've done what we need to do on this side, we'll turn over to this side and we're going to do some little cuts right along here. We'll cut up just until that second score intersection, okay, like that. And we'll do that like this and like this. Okay, so we've got all those are up to the second score intersection, and then I'm going to turn this to the back side, and I'm going to do the same thing I did and cut, cut, cut. 3 little cuts right there. Okay, now I'm going to turn this over here. So this is the very end. Our little cut pieces are like this, and I'm going to cut this first little one completely away, just the first one right here. This one's going completely away, and then this one as well will be completely away. All right, and then the next one in, we're going to retain one of the squares and we're going to cut away that outer one. Okay, and then we'll come along here, we'll do the same over here. And then we'll flip this over to the back side and we're going to do the same thing on this side right here. We just want one square to remain and one square to remain. If you did mine from last week, you'll notice it's kind of the same pattern, but now it's included on this big sheet. So this is what it looks like. These are the 4 little tiny tucking tabs right there. Okay. And then we're going to come in and we'll just give these a quick little angle cut, like I'm talking tiny, just a little cut, because that's going to help when you're tucking all those pieces in. If you've ever looked at a box that you get from the store, you'll notice that they do tend to have those little angles on them. We'll flip this to the back side. We'll do the same thing, because this is very small. It's just really tiny, minuscule little cuts. Okay, you can see my really, really tiny, tiny pieces all over my desk now. Okay, that's all there is to it. Okay, so we're going to fold this piece along the score lines. So I'm going to just kind of do a quick cursory little fold, and then we'll use the bone folder. You just be very careful that you fold along the score lines. Some of these are very skinny, so you might have to mold with your fingers a little bit. Just kind of start it going, and then we'll come back over with the bone folder to really fold these down. Okay, so let's take our bone folder and bring this one in. This one went a little cattywampus. Let's bring this in. Okay, and then we'll bring in this next one. The bone folder is just going to help really smooth out those folds so that when you go to assemble this box, it's going to be a little easier for you. These little tabs I'm going to just fold down by hand. But taking a minute to do this now will help your box come together. Take a minute and do a good job. This one right here is a little hard because it's so skinny. So just take a moment and see that you can get it flat. When I do 1/4 inches, it is a little tougher. This one here, the distance is 3/8 of an inch, so this one's a little easier. But this is a smaller box, so there's smaller dimensions. And then we got this last one right here, like this. All right, so this is the way I scored it originally, so you can kind of see where the marks ended up and how they came together. I'll have a diagram for you so you can see what this looks like before we do the assembly. Okay, one more thing before we assemble the box. We want to add this little tab. So I'm going to take this punch. This is I think it's called the Best Label punch. We'll just take a piece of the same colored cardstock crushed curry and just punch ourselves a little label. And we'll bring in the scoring tool one more time. Just put this up in the corner with the short side up at the top. Where did my, here is my scoring tool. Okay, so short side's up at the top, it's right in the corner, and you're just gonna score this at the 1/4 inch mark. When you score it at the 1/4 inch mark, it is going to score this piece perfectly, let's see if you can see that, perfectly in half, okay? So we're also gonna fold this along the score line and bring in this piece. Okay, so one thing you can do to really help you see where you're going to be gluing this piece is, since this is on the inside, this is folding this way, I'm going to find the ends of my slot. And I'm just going to highlight them with a pencil. So when I go to glue, I'm going to try and center my piece in between those two pencil marks so I know exactly where I'm going. So I'll take one end and I'm going to slide it through that slot right here. And when I'm gluing this, I want to make sure that it can wrap around like this. So make sure that there's this scoring bump right here. That kind of is a little bit towards the outside rather than the inside. So I just make sure that that's shoved on the outside a little bit. And then you can kind of just double check to see, okay, this does look like it's centered between those two. And once you like that placement, you're going to take your glue and put a little bit just right underneath, or you can put it right on the back of the label. But the purpose is to kind of glue this down here in between those two pencil marks. And then just make sure before it's dry, just come on the outside, make sure it's shoved in as far as it can go, but make sure it can wrap around the front right here, because it's going to tuck into this slot over here. So it needs to be able to kind of reach around. So if this is flat, if you can glue this and so it looks flat like that, then you should be good. Okay, so we've got that glue down, but now let's make sure it's really solid. I'll put some glue on the top of it, and I'm gonna put glue all over this segment right here, because this is going to make up the front of our card, and it's a doubled over piece of cardstock. So I'm just gonna fold this down. It hides the end of that tab because now it's sandwiched in between these first two panels or scored segments. Use the bone folder to put that down so you can see how nice that little tab looks. It's all tucked into its piece. Okay, so now let me explain this piece. This is probably, or this part, it's probably the hardest part to understand. But we need to glue this end tab over to here. Okay, so the box is going to, when you flatten this piece out, it's going to look like that. And then we'll push this back and it will become a box. So you can do a couple of things to help yourself achieve success here. Okay, first of all, I've got this piece, this end tab, it is folded over and it is in its folded state. It is not open, it is folded. Next, I think it's easier to aim this piece over here. If we put the glue over on this side, then you know exactly where you're aiming for. So we've got this end piece that's doubled over. We've got a 3/8 inch segment right here, and then we have a score line. You're going to put your glue right here, right very, very, very close to the score line, but not on the score line, but very close. Do you see? So we've got this doubled over piece, we've got a 3/8 inch segment, we've got the score line, and then you're going to put the glue. Okay? Then this piece that's folded over, you're going to aim it right here. So you're going to push this piece out so that it is flat. It's flat, it's in a flattened state, and you're going to aim that segment that's folded over right on top of that glue. And then you'll take your piece, use your bone folder. This is a really great time to use your bone folder, and smooth this down. Okay. And then we're going to fold this back. Fold it back and turn it into the box that it's supposed to be. Okay? Because it was completely flat while I was able to do the bone folder, and now I've pushed it back, and now it has become the box that we need for the Hershey's bar. Okay? So we need a Hershey's bar. 1.55 ounces, 43 grams. And I'm going to close one side. On the big Hershey's bar, I glued it. I'm not going to glue it this time. I'm just going to tuck it in. Okay, tuck everything in on one side. Open this up. This is going to fold over when it goes in. So let's go ahead. It is a snug fit. Then shove it down. You can pull it up. Maybe tuck this over the top, this flap for the top. And then you're going to try and shove it in. Okay. There's about a 1/4 inch of space so that you can tuck that in. And then you're just going to close this up like this. Okay. So now this is a pretty solid, the cardstock sits like right on top of the bar. And then you're going to bring this all the way over, and then that tab, if you cut it, or slot, if you cut it in the right spot, it should line up. You might need to like settle your piece a little bit. If your piece is popping up at all, mine have been pretty good so far, but if you want to make your piece a little wider so that it gives a little bit more friction to hold it together, just bend out the corners a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. I've bent my corners out just a little bit. And when you tuck it, that should give it a little bit more friction to hold the tab down, okay, if you have any problems with popping up accidentally. All right. Okay, so now we can just decorate this piece. And for that, I'm going to grab some of my paper that I've pre-cut. So this one's going on the top, this one's going on the inside lid, this one's going to be our piece for writing on in the inside, and then this piece is going to be on the front. So these 3 panels are all the same size. Let me just double check the measurements for you. So it is 5.5 by 2 inches. So I just chose a paper for the front, paper for the inside cover, and white. So they're all 5.5 by 2. This piece right here is 5 inches by 1.5. All right, so now we get to the fun thing. We'll grab this punch right here, and we're gonna punch all of these pieces. Hey, if you want to, these pieces are fairly light and they're the same size. So if you double them up over top and you're able to keep them together, you can punch both of these at the same time. So let's do that. This is the punch we're going to be using. So we'll start over here and we'll punch this corner. Then we're going to take it out and flip it over and punch it right here. Then we're going to flip this over to this side, punch it here, and then flip it over like that. Always keeping the punch facing this way, and that way you'll get your curves facing in the right direction. So there we go. Those are both punched. We'll do the white one the same way. Punch, flip, punch, flip, punch, flip, punch. Okay, and then we'll do this one. Punch, flip, punch, flip, punch, flip, and punch, flip. Okay, look at all those little tiny corners. I find after a while, this is about as many as I can punch, and then I need to lift up my punch. Otherwise, this thing will start to hit the paper pieces and it won't punch very well. So keep that in mind. If you're doing a bunch of these in a row, you're going to need to move your punch out of the way and throw some of these in the garbage. Okay, so we should be ready to roll. Let's start with the front piece. Oh, we're going to need some flowers for the front piece, so let's do that. I'm going to use, I love Petal Park. This Petal Park, it's the Petal Park stamp set and the Petal Park Builder Punch. And we're going to use Daffodil Delight and Crushed Curry. And as you know, we are having a color renovation coming up. We are, some of our colors are retiring and we're getting some new colors. Daffodil Delight and Crushed Curry are sticking around. So that's why I'm using colors that are going to continue on. We'll start off with Crushed Curry. And we're going to use this stamp, which is the outline of the flower, and then this is the filler of the flower. You can tell that there's more detail on this one. And then take a look at your punch, because we're going to try and line it up, right? So you want your stamp to line up with this so it's easier to punch, so you don't have to do anything fancy to punch it. So this is Crushed Curry, and we're going to just stamp this down here in the corner, and then we'll come in with Daffodil Delight. I like to stamp my outline first and then come in with the detail. I find that's a little easier. So now I can, that outline is bold, and I can kind of just, it's easiest if you actually stand up and bring this right down on top. Look how cool that is. This is why I fell in love with stamping. Two-step stamping is why I fell in love with it, because it's just so cool, because I could never draw that. Or it would take me a while to draw that. I'm not a talented freehand artist in that way, but stamping makes it so easy. Okay, so now I'm just going to punch these out, and we'll layer them in just a second. Oops. And we'll also make some leaves. So for the leaves, put this out of the way, we're going to use another couple colors that are carrying over. Soft Sea Foam and Granny Apple Green work really well together. So we're going to start again with a darker color and the outline. And I found that if you take a strip of basic white and you cut it so it's 3/4 of an inch wide, it works really well. I'm going to look at my punch shape here. Let me close this so we can see it better. The punch shape. And the pointy end of the leaf, it's kind of imperceptible, but there is a pointier end and a blunter end. So I'm going to stamp that pointy end facing down. So we're going to do this. Pointy end facing down on an angle. I'm trying to mimic how this leaf is placed. And we're going to need to, I'm going to need 3 of these. So we'll do that. And then we're going to come in with this one, which is the bold leaf. And we'll stamp that in the lighter color, soft seafoam. And also this one does also have a pointy end, so we'll just line that up in the center, like that. So cool. All right, let's see how well this works. If you end up stamping the blunt end down at the bottom, it's pretty close. I just noticed after a while that I thought there wasn't much of a difference, but there is actually a slight difference. So the pointier end of the leaf does face down. And see how nicely this works, because it doesn't take up extra cardstock. You can stamp those leaves really closely together and just work your way down the line, and you can create a whole bunch of leaves really quickly. Do all the stamping first and then the punching. Okay. I love some of the builder punches. I don't love so much because of how you have to situate everything, but this one's a good one. Okay, so we're going to take the big flower and the small flower, and we're going to glue them together. Just put some glue on the center of that big flower and then just glue them together. I'm going to take one regular size dimensional off my sheet, and I'm going to put it in the center right here. Find my smaller label, yeah. And I'm just going to lay this on here like this. I want to make sure, grab this. I want to make sure I have enough room to put a leaf on this side and a leaf on that side. This is my go-to greetings happy birthday. And I think it's the third, the middle one, the middle sized happy birthday, not the largest and not the smallest. And I'm going to use Night of Navy ink, another carryover ink. And we'll just stamp this right about here. Isn't that a pretty script? This is why this greeting stamp set is carrying over, because it's very beautiful. Okay, so then we're going to take this, peel it off, and just plunk it down there. All right, then we're going to take our leaves, put a little glue on them. Since the dimensional is in the center, you have time to like move around the leaves and tuck them underneath here. Okay, so we don't have to do that ahead of time, which is kind of nice. We'll tuck one under here too. Okay, and then we'll do one more thing. I'll bring these glossy dots in, and I'm going to do the medium size dot and put that in the center. You could use any of the other colors too, but these are just so pretty. And so that label's ready to go. And then we're also going to prep this inside label. So we'll take this leftover flower and this leaf, and we'll just add it, kind of tucking out right there. And we're going to glue this right here. That way I use up all the flowers that I punched, and then I'll take the smaller glossy dot and put it right there. Okay, and that will be for the inside. Okay, let's pop this back over here. It is super windy where I'm at today. I think there's some sort of wind alert in New England, or at least southern New England today. So I'm gonna glue this piece. Actually, you know what I might do? I might glue this piece on here first. Let's do that. This is the happy birthday piece. Let's just get that centered nicely on there. I've got a hair stuck to me. It doesn't want to go away. All right. Okay, so now I can take this big piece and center it on the top of my box. This is a bright little box in crushed curry, but yellow can be a very cheerful color. Okay, so then let's open this up. We'll take this piece and glue it on here. There are so many pretty floral patterns in this paper. I don't think you could go wrong with whatever you choose. And then this piece is going to glue right here. Just kind of keep it centered. All right, that is all there is to this piece. I am just gonna shove over some of my things, get them out of the way, and tuck this in, back in. All right, so there's crushed curry. Whoops, just dropped my ruler. Here is melon mambo. Tuck that back in. Oh, and of course you can see how this Hershey's chocolate bar works just like that. Well, which one do you like better? Do you like crushed curry, melon mambo, or night of navy? I think they're all kind of pretty. Let me tuck this one in so we can get like a better sense of, let's tuck this all the way in. My eye gets distracted very easily, so it's kind of nice to be able to see everything tucked in. All right. So there are the 3 different boxes. Let's tuck that in. Ta-da! I don't know. I think they look so pretty together that I don't know. I would be tempted to make them in all 3 colors if I were handing them out because they just look really nice like that. You know, you can use, we've got thank you, we've got just a note, we've got happy birthday. So with just a note, you could even use the scripty one here, or thank you. This bigger thank you could fill up more area right there if you were doing these as little thank you gifts. So this go to greetings is great for this particular project because there's enough room to put different sizes of greetings right there. So I'm coming back over to you. I hope you like that project, and thank you so much to the person who messaged me and said I want a different size, because I think this will be another size that you can use, and this will be a size that's kind of more for doing a lot of them. And so I'm glad I was able to figure it out. And once you get going on your design, I think the biggest stumbling block with this is making sure that you put your slots in before you cut up the rest of the cardstock. So score, cut those slots in step number 2, and then cut away everything else. Okay. So if you liked my video today, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel so more people can find me. What else is going on? Well, we've got the color renovation that's coming up, but right now we still have a lot of things that are retiring. Some things are up to 60% off, so make sure you check out the retiring section in the online store. Some of your favorites might be retiring right now, so check that out. And all the products that I used today should be available. I checked on most of them, so they should be available to order right now. The Hues of Happiness paper is only available, I don't know when it will sell out, but it is limited supply. So that one won't be carrying forward. But the other supplies I used today, if you're watching this video in the summer at some point or even next fall, those products are still going to be available in 2023, like the stamp sets I used and the punches, because those are all carrying over. All right, I want to talk to some of you guys. I want to see if you have any questions or comments. I'll say hello to all of you. Good morning, Donna and Stuart. And Donna says, Happy Easter. Thank you. Good morning, Amy and Carol and Dee and Janine. Hello, Ellie. Ellie says she's eagerly anticipating the Easter Bunny and baby grandson Philip. Oh, yay. I'm glad you're going to be able to see your grandson over the holiday. That's great. Good morning, Marty. Looks like you're going to have some sunny weather for Easter and spring. That's awesome. Good morning, Marina, all the way from Algeria. That's so cool. I love it when people come from different parts of the world, because it's just, I'm kind of an international person, so I love to see, of course, I love my customers throughout the U.S. and team throughout the U.S., but I was born in Canada and I have family in other parts of the world too. So I love seeing people from other parts of the world. So welcome, welcome. Good morning, Nola. And thank you. First time catching me live. That's great. Good morning, Vera Blue from Tennessee. Good morning, Pam. And thank you for sharing this video, Pam. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, Deborah and Lupe. And Birgit from Germany. And Laura has to walk her dogs, or so she'll watch the video later. Loopy says, don't forget to all like the video. Well, thank you, Loopy. That's so sweet. I really appreciate that. I always forget to tell people to do that because I'm like very into my project. Like I just can't wait to get going and show you the project. So like I'm very bad at self-promoting. So I have to like force myself to say something, but it's for everyone's benefit, because if you want to see more of my videos, the likes help me stay in business, because my channel will grow. And so I appreciate that so much, reminding me of that. Deborah says, such a beautiful presentation for a simple candy bar. Thank you. You know, and the thing is that Hershey's bar isn't too expensive, so you can take it and decorate it and make it into something special. Hi, Jean. She said she came in at the end, but we'll go back and watch the replay. Great. And the project sheet will go out tomorrow, so between those two, you should be able to make this box. Janine says she likes, Janine says she likes all the colors that I made. Amy said she likes the Night of Navy. And Jean says she likes the crushed curry. Oh, well, that's great, because I was like not thinking that yellow was the best color, but once it was done, I actually liked it. I'm much more of a blue girl, though, so... Marty says she's not usually a yellow person, but it looks beautiful with that paper. And also, Marty pointed out, it also worked really well to show the score lines, because if I had used Night of Navy or even Melon Mambo, it would have been a lot harder to see those score lines. So using a lighter color for my demonstration was the way to go. Marty says she loves all the colors. Oh, and Amy wanted to know again, what was the name of the punch that I used for the tab? Let me just double check on my project sheet to make sure I give you, this is the Best Label punch. If you got the Alpha Best bundle, you already have this punch. There is, let me grab it off my shelf. Last spring, I made a whole bunch of nugget boxes. You may remember them. And this punch right here matches. This is part of the Alpha Best bundle. And I'm trying to remember, I think this one, I think all the bundle pricing is going away on this. So if you want to get this as a bundle, make sure you get it now. I have only the Best Label Punch in my supply list, but if you look for the word AlphaBest, do a search on AlphaBest in the online store, you will find the stamp set and then you will find the bundle. And this is the punch that goes with this. And I have some of these still across the room, so let me grab one. Okay, so last year, when this punch came out, it was right before 4th of July. So I made nugget boxes in different sizes. You might remember these. This was one I did for the Happy 4th of July. This was Grad 2022. You'd probably want to change that to Grad 2023 this year. These boxes I made in all different sizes, single row, double row, triple row. I think I even did 4-row boxes. So you could spell out different things, different words, people names, different events, different occasions. So that's what I use the AlphaBest bundle for. So it is a very cool little punch. Those projects were very popular. And I'm so glad the punch and the stamp set are carrying over, because now we can continue to make those cute little nugget boxes, right? Janine says, Go-To Greetings is one of the best sets we've had, in my opinion. I agree, because, when I go to grab a set and I want to find a happy birthday, because that's probably the most common card I make, I grab a set and like, oh no, that birthday's not going to work out because it's too big or too small or whatever. But now you have 3 sizes. So all in one set, you can find a size. You can see the different size happy birthdays. There's 3 different sizes. So usually one of them will fit. This one right here that I used, you can probably see I cut right in between the 2 words, because I actually use this as a stacked greeting as well. So you can cut in between them if there is a space, like this happy birthday here could also be cut in half if you wanted to stack the happy and the birthday. Very versatile set. And, those are greetings that we use a lot. So I agree. Thanks for pointing that out. Vera Blue said, a lovely box as usual. I like them all. Dee said she liked the Night of Navy best, but all 3 are very nice colors too. Marty says she loved the nugget boxes from last year. I did too. I had to stop after a while because I did all the different sizes, and I can't just keep doing nugget boxes, but I think the personalization factor is awesome on those. I think it was Dee who commented on my box from last week, and she said that she personalized all of her these larger size boxes with names, and I think she used an alphabet for that. So that's really cool. Yeah, you can personalize this. Like you could actually, I'm just thinking now, with the AlphaBest bundle, if you wanted to, you could spell out someone's name using, the punch and the letters and put it all across, and maybe the flowers at the end. You could definitely do that. That would be really cute as well. So lots of different options. I didn't use any dies today. This was an all scoring trimmer and punch project, so you do not need a die cutting machine for this project. So that's good that it can be done pretty easily with supplies just that are with punches. All right. I hope you guys have happy Passover to my Jewish friends, and happy Good Friday. And we have Easter coming up on Sunday. So I wish you all a happy holiday, no matter what you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate at all. I wish you a happy spring. And I will be back next week, my usual time. My usual time is 10 a.m. Eastern. I was a little late today. I apologize for that. But I'll be back 10 a.m. Eastern, Tuesdays on Facebook, and 10 a.m. Eastern live on YouTube. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.